Hello and welcome to another episode of Pyro Unleashed. Tune in weekly as Donnie and David discuss all things pyro, from the business aspect of the industry to technical tips and mesmerizing pyro designs. On Pyro Unleashed, we invite cutting-edge experts to the podcast to discuss their role in making this industry a success. So, sit back and unleash your inner pyro with us.
All right, David. Hey, man. How's it going? Doing? Good. Well, we are
one of the
we are live at SkyWars. Live at SkyWars.
Yeah, what's going on, guys?
For better or for worse.
Yeah, I mean, it's normally this would be full of pyros.
Jam packed.
Jam packed.
Right?
I mean,
normally it would be. Yeah.
Thursday. We're like 1:30 here.
Yeah.
Yep.
It would be packed.
Yeah.
It's probably 20 people here, maybe.
Yeah.
Sun shining, beautiful day out here.
Yeah, for today.
The irony, right?
For today.
You know, yeah, it's funny. I was hearing the other podcast, and you were on there, and you're like, yeah, we might just, the weather might just turn around, and then.
Well, it definitely will. We haven't had a drop of rain since the second we announced it. We were sitting under a table making the decision, and we finally just said, all right, this is the right move. And it was raining as we were doing it. And then once we sort of broke to go do all the things we needed to do, stop raining, hasn't rained a drop since. Even with that, though, it's too wet. I mean, there's just no way. Even if it's sunny all through the weekend and we don't get the half inch we're supposed to get tomorrow, which is, hey, that's down from 3 inches that they were going to give us.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it's just too.
It's just going to wake the mud back up.
That's right. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, when you walk on this gravel out here, it's kind of squishy in some spots.
Right.
Like you walk
even the road.
Even the new road. I mean, we actually put a new road in 6 hours, thinking that we were about halfway through it when we called it, and then we said, well, do we need to finish the road? And the problem is the cars and campers that are already here, like, we won't be able to get these out unless we finish it. So we finished it.
Yeah. I mean, they were just pulling an RV out, and the only way to get it out is
pulled it out with a skid steer.
With a skid steer.
Yeah.
They might be able to get a truck in, but I think there's a good chance the truck would be stuck, and then we'd be right back where we'd be pulling the truck and the trailer out.
Right.
So.
Yeah.
Well, let's dive into the situation that we're in out here.
Yes.
I mean, so kind of walk us through a little bit, Rob. I mean, obviously, as people know at this point, I mean, SkyWars 2024 was canceled.
Yep.
Yeah.
There was
Rescheduled.
Postponed.
Rescheduled.
So will next year be the 19th, or will next year be the 20th?
Well, it's funny you said that, because I had to go in and update the Eventbrite, and it asked, how do you want to name the event? And it said like the 19th annual, and we're like, well, maybe we don't need to do that anymore. Can it be the we're going to say the annual SkyWars Championship? So it's I think it doesn't really matter that it's the 19th or the 20th, or we thought about playing around and calling it the 19th redo or redux or something like that. Yeah. But at the end of the day, I think
the dry 19th.
The point is we have it every year, so it says annual, and next year will be 2025, and that's when we're having it. So we will be we'll be right back with the same lineup that we would have had this year, assuming talking to all the shooters. Everybody seems to be ready to come back next year. Now life happens. I don't think we'll lose anybody though. I think everybody will be back.
Yeah. I think we'll be fine. And I know when previous episode we were talking about the expansion of SkyWars. So I think we're kind of sitting in the new display field right now.
Yeah,
right?
I think that we definitely plan right now is to definitely make some changes, and this has always been about just how do we provide the biggest stage we can.
Yeah. And
so next year will be, the plan is to make the field wider. So we're 500 feet wide now, which means that, at the max we can do 450 foot, frontage. Yeah. And you're you can do a little bit outside angles, but you're prevented from doing that because the trees are there. But with 850 feet, which is the new plan, you could be as wide as 800. Or if you're 500 and you want to do a 75-degree angle straight to the side, no problem.
I say still do it at 75 right
David
now.
likes to pound the trees when he's here shooting.
I'm pretty sure we used the full width last year. We still shot mines at like 80s on the outside.
Yeah, exactly.
We're like, hey, don't take it easy on those trees, and usually they just pounding pounding those trees. So that'll be great.
They grew
it'll
from
open up
last
some
year.
stuff.
Yeah, the elevation changed from last year. So.
Yeah. So one of the other benefits of the change is the land that we're going to be making those that we're going to be clearing is it's flatter left to right. So instead of having that big drop off that we have now, it'll be pretty much straight or flatter. I mean, it's not going to be perfectly flat, but it'll be a lot better.
A little more level.
Yeah, a little more level.
Yeah, that's good.
So let's talk a little bit more about, I guess, about the decision that went into canceling this year, and a little bit kind of the background on why that decision was made and kind of how that came about.
We got on site on Sunday, and it's funny because we talked on Saturday. I was talking to Keith Thompson, who's the grounds person out here. He's here, every week all year long, making some change or putting in roads or mowing, or he's sort of the main guy. And at the time they were expecting a little bit of rain. It was like an inch or two, and he said, honestly, it hasn't rained in 7 weeks. We could really use it. Use an inch.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it was dry.
Fire marshal was concerned about the fact that it had been so dry, and so we got an inch on Sunday, and we thought, all right, maybe an inch and a quarter. We're like, oh, perfect. And we got out here, ground was still firm, was raining really well, couple soft spots, but you could just tell it was going to be great. And then we got some more rain, and it was like, well, there's another band coming, and it's supposed to stop raining at 10 o'clock. And then 10 o'clock it was still raining, and now it ends at 11 o'clock. And at 11 o'clock it ends at 12 o'clock. It just sort of kept moving out, and then it rained, almost, it was on and off, but I mean pretty consistently and pretty hard until all through Monday. And then we're like, okay, now it's gonna dry. Yeah, we had one of the guys back in the campsite had a solo cup out and just sitting on a table in the rain, and it overflowed.
Whew.
Wow.
So it's not perfect because that that cup is wider at the mouth, and so it's going to collect a little more water. But man, we're like, we got a lot of water, and everywhere we were getting stuck, and we thought, all right, we get 3 days, we will be able to dry it out a little bit, and if we don't get any more rain, maybe we're all right. And then on Tuesday, it was like, actually, a funny story on Monday night, there was like one little cloud right on top of the site, and like on the map it said everywhere was clean. You gotta be kidding me. And actually there were a few times when it would be raining, and you'd look on the weather radar, and the radar shows clean. The radar shows it's not raining, but it is definitely raining. So we got another half inch, and water was standing on the field. And so at a certain point I looked at Kevin, and Kevin Kemper, who's sort of, I always call him the guy behind the guy. He does all the work. I told him I'd be happy to have him go on the podcast if he was up for it, but he said no. He said no way. So I looked at Kevin and I was like, "Are we kidding ourselves here? Like we can't park anybody." I had Sean Howder was in town, and he told me he's coming on site. He says, "Hey, I'm coming over. I'm going to have about 5 trucks. Where do you want me to park them? Just like regular pickups."
Yeah.
And I was like, nowhere. I can't park 5 trucks right now. I have nowhere to put them.
Yeah.
So I'm like, if I can't park 5 trucks, in another day I'm going to have 50.
Yeah.
And I can't park any of these people anywhere. The second you pull off the gravel road, you are stuck. So at that point we reached out to Charlie Boyce and Chip Wabi, who are the owners of Innsbruck and our partner in this event.
Yeah.
And we just started, talking through the issues, and of course, as many people as we have to park, they're going to park several thousand cars on Saturday.
Oh yeah.
And the pyros show up in 4-wheel drive trucks. The public shows up in a Prius. So
for sure. Yeah.
That thing is, if you don't have 4-wheel drive, you are definitely stuck. Even pretty much wherever you're at.
Yeah.
And the thing about parking those lots is, as soon as the first person doesn't park straight, if it starts getting messed up, then the whole parking is screwed up, and now you don't have enough room. And we thought all you have to do is get 3 or 4 cars stuck in that lot, and nobody can get out. And now it's 3 hours to get out at the end of the night, or we can't get in, and they're lined up all the way back to Highway 70. And we thought, the main thing we have to do is we have to keep providing a great customer experience.
Yeah.
And we really have, we've got to just make sure if people come out and they, as much hate as we might get if we cancel or reschedule, we're going to get even more hate if people come out and are just miserable.
Yeah.
And
right.
So, and then the other thing is on the pyro side is we thought we were going to have to shuttle, because you couldn't get a truck into the field, so we're going to have to shuttle every piece of equipment in with either a UTV or a skid steer. and then it was supposed to rain more, and we thought, it might take us 3 days to get everybody out of the field just because we can't go out and load it up. So and then now the shooters are going to have a bad experience, and people are taking off vacation, so then they can't stay, they got to go back to work, and we thought this is just, unfortunately, this is not our year. As I was saying, conditions are not ideal.
Yeah,
not ideal. So we decided to pull the plug.
Sounds like something for tomorrow night too. Not ideal.
Yeah.
No,
That's right. Yeah. Also the password for the speakeasy. It's not ideal.
It's not ideal.
No, not ideal. So it's the right move, and the thing is, like, once you make the decision, it's actually easy. And now it's just a whole new set of problems, and all right. So it's all right. You're gonna contact all the sponsors. I'm going to contact all the shooters, and we're going to start working on a communication to send out to everybody. And of course, by about the time I was halfway through the shooter lists, I would call and they would go, "Is it true? Is it canceled?" So the rumor mill was it was working
fast.
a lot faster than we were.
I think even before you or Brian called me, I had like 2 calls already.
Yeah.
Like,
I know David called me. He's like, "Have you heard?" And I'm like, "No." And he's like, "It's canceled." And I'm like, "Oh man."
Yeah, it was moving fast.
Yeah,
and in a lot of ways, it's good because we want to make sure everybody knows.
Yeah.
Actually, just today, I heard from a member who called and talked to somebody who was coming who somehow had not heard.
Wow.
And he was getting in his car and he was like, didn't believe me. He's like, I promise you, did not get in that car.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but
wow.
It's the right move, and we'll be back bigger and better next year.
Yeah.
So obviously, one of the big questions is, if you had pyro tickets or you had spectator tickets, what's that process? Like, what's next for them?
I think, well, if you want to come next year, you don't need to do anything. So if you're a member of the public and you want to come, your tickets, your reserve parking, everything is valid for September 27, 2025.
All right, there it is.
A little earlier today, I went in and changed the dates on the event, so we're ready to go there. On the pyro side, same thing. If you bought meal passes, if you bought the PGI course, it all rolls forward to next year. Now, in both cases, if somebody says, "Hey, you know what? I'd rather have a refund," we can do that. We will cancel. We will refund, no problem, because we know that some people want to do that. Now, public tickets for next year. I've had a lot of people. I've had probably only 20 people email me so far and say, "Hey, I definitely want a refund." Now, we did communicate. Sit tight. We're going to explain to you how to request it.
Yeah.
But I've had far more people say, "Wait, does this mean 2025 sold out now too?"
Exactly.
I was already planning to come.
Yeah.
What do I have to do to get my hands on one of these tickets that people ask for a refund on? So our plan is usually tickets go on sale at the end of October. I think our intention at this point would be anybody that wants a refund, we're going to take those tickets, we're going to put them back on sale in October, and we'll sort of fill back up at our current size, and then we'll see how this goes, and we may try to get some more people onto the site, so there may be more tickets available. It's not guaranteed, but I think if you're somebody that didn't, sort of got locked out because both pyro and public was sold out, there may be an opportunity to do something here soon.
Because I know you mentioned before, like with the site redesign, there might be a larger capacity for people. So that would be maybe some hope for people out there that potentially changing the site.
We will definitely. In terms of just raw space, we'll have a lot more capacity there. Now, as I said, the game, the secret to SkyWars, I'll let you guys in on the secret. It's really not that hard. If we keep the shooters happy and when people want to come shoot here, and if we keep the sponsors happy and so that they support us, and people have a good experience when they show up, like this event will continue for the long haul. And it'll just get bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yeah. Exactly.
And if we start screwing those things up, then then we're in trouble. So anyway, that's what we're up to. So we'll do our best to take care of people and we'll get next year taken care of. So now the thing with the extra space is, since that is the case, let's say, I think we might have room for as many as 20,000 people in the new site. Now, I don't have a lot of confidence in our ability to go from 10,000 to 20,000. I think we could do it, but there's so much you learn as you continue to scale the event. When years ago the event was 3, 4, 5, and then now it's 10. You learn a lot about the traffic flow and how do you park the people, and Do we have enough food trucks? Do we have enough bathrooms? All these little things that you think about. So I'd say there's a good chance that we will not look to double the event. We will add some tickets, make sure that we can still do a good job.
Yeah.
Okay, now maybe add a few more. Let's see if we can still. So we're going to grow. We want as many people to have the opportunity to see these amazing shows and the work that these pyro artists are doing. But we want to make sure we're providing a good experience, because the last thing for the shooters, they put on the show of a lifetime, and everybody is mad because they couldn't go to the bathroom,
right,
and they didn't enjoy it. So we can't have that. So we've really got we're gonna work our way up and make sure that we can keep doing a good job along the way.
Yeah. So with the site expansion, does that mean that the shows this year, you're going to force them to stay at the 400, 450, or are you going to allow them to, expand broaden their horizons?
We said that they would be welcome to, and of course it's early,
yeah, for sure.
We definitely said that if somebody wanted to change it, they would be welcome to do that.
Okay.
And talking to a few now, they may change their mind later, but right now they're like, I'm not touching that script again. That's it. Pack it away. I'm done.
Yeah.
So because I'll noodle on the thing for a whole nother year.
Oh yeah.
So I think the intention is they're going to try to can. I mean, at least for most of the folks I've talked to, it's in the can. We are going to pull it back out in September 25, and everybody will enjoy it.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of the shooters. They've already fully prepped and got their shows ready to go. Setting in containers or garages.
The single shots
they're
are
racked,
done,
everything.
They're ready to set them out. So it would be a lot of work to go back there and have to change the show.
Redo it. So I would guess that most people, maybe there's a little tweak or two here or there, but I'm going to guess that people will leave it
Well,
alone.
I mean, even expanding your field, that completely could change
the way your
the demographic of how your angles work and everything. So, yeah,
it'll be something to think about for sure.
Yeah,
crazy.
Yep. All right, so I've had a couple people ask. I know you've already answered it, but do you think maybe canceling it so early on was maybe premature? Or
yeah. Well. No, I think that we were glad that we did it. The part of the reason to do it early was we realized that the longer we go, every hour that goes by, more people show up on site, more equipment is getting moved to the field, more people are getting stuck, and we're having to pull them out, and we're digging the hole deeper that we're going to have to dig ourselves out of if we do, and we were still optimistic about the weekend, and we thought, and then we got two things happened on Tuesday. One was that we got a note from Warren County Emergency Management. So they're pretty much in direct conversations with National Weather Service. So they've got way better data than we do.
Yeah.
It's still not perfect, but it's the best that's available. It's certainly better than the 5 weather apps that I flip between trying to figure out what's going to happen. And they said that we could expect between 2 and 3 inches of additional rain on Friday and Saturday.
Wow.
And then we thought, well, how accurate is that? Maybe we won't get that much. And so we were, we let that ride for about another couple hours, and the rest of the day looked clear. And then over the course of about 2 hours, we got an additional ½ inch of rain that I was telling you about.
Yeah, right.
And we saw what it did because the ground was so saturated, and we thought, you know what? Even if it's wrong, if we get another ½ inch or quarter inch even, it's so saturated that it won't matter. It'll be like we just got two inches.
Yeah.
And so, our thinking behind doing the cancellation early is there's a lot of people that haven't left yet. Some people are in the unfortunate situation of, their Airbnb is not cancelable or they bought not cancelable flights, but at least they know early enough that they could not get on that plane,
right?
If they want to, and people have the option to cancel flights. I was talking to Jeff Jordan just a little while ago, and he said, he was able to cancel his flight. He canceled his RV and got not all of his money back, but some. You know. And if we made that call on Friday, then everybody's here with nowhere to park. By the way, and. And now they're out. Now they're totally committed. Yeah, so we wanted to make the decision early as early as we could. And I talked to we call all the vendors and like the sound guy who's worked with us for years. It's Arch City. They do a really nice job. And I told him, and he's like, we're disappointed. He goes, we love doing this event so much. He goes, but I want to thank you for making a decision early, because he goes, usually, he's like, we do a lot of outdoor events. They get canceled all the time. Usually I find out we have a problem when I have a 26-foot box truck stuck in the mud somewhere. And, you just saved me, the hassle of doing that, and all the expense of having all the people come out and all that. And so, I think it was the right move when it was obvious that it was not going to happen. Then it was, we're really doing people a disservice the longer we waited. So we made the call fairly early.
Yeah, for sure. And I guess what about like, with help with doubling the field, potentially, eventually, obviously doubling the guests, but probably not right away.
Right.
Is that going to help make it financially easier for SkyWars?
It certainly would help. As you can imagine, the expense bills are still coming.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and I guess,
Eventbrite's rule is, you get the money when the event's over. So, they're going to hold our money for another year.
Wow.
And meanwhile, the tents have been bought, the UTVs have been rented, the generators have been rented, and those costs are all, we're going to pay those. Now, a lot of the vendors have been really great. Caleb Fector, who does all of the catering, he and I had a conversation, and he was like, let me see, what do I got? And he was sitting on $10,000 worth of food, and then I think he figured he might be able to do something with some of it, and he was still going to have some costs, and we were going back and forth about how that would work. And he finally called me back, and he goes, nah, don't worry about it.
Wow.
So to have that kind of support from from the vendors is really it's so great.
Yeah, that's
and
awesome.
it'll help a little bit. But this is financially for the club, this is going to be it's going to be a big hit, and we can withstand it. Fortunately, if there's a pyro out there that wants to support us, the best thing you can do is roll your money forward. And if you think you're coming next year, and if you think you're not coming, then of course get your refund. But that would be one way to support the club at this point.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, we'll have some more people. I don't know how many more. Maybe we'll be able to get some revenue, some additional revenue, and that certainly will help.
So does SkyWars on a budgetary have any type of reserve that you guys keep for instances like this, or any type of event insurance that helps cover you in case of something like this?
You said the insurance word. Reserves. We have some money that we use because in many cases we have to pay for a lot of the stuff in advance.
Yeah.
And then we usually get our money a week to 10 days after the event's over. And a lot of people will work with us and say, they send the invoice and pay me in a week. That works pretty good. So we do have enough, just because we have to sort of like seed every year. You have to have money to be able to pay all those expenses before you get your revenue.
Yeah.
Now on the insurance side, the big thing is weather insurance, and we've had weather insurance on a couple of other occasions. I think one of the most notable was, I don't know, and David, you were at Brookdale in 2016.
I was there in 15. I wasn't there in 16.
So it's 2016. Were you in 2016?
No, I wasn't. No.
We were calling this
horrible,
Brookdale 2.0. So in 2016, we had a similar situation. It was a hurricane that blew up from the Gulf. This situation here is like we were getting rain before, and then we're supposed to get the direct hurricane. That year, the hurricane was on top of us, and in I don't even think it was 2 days. I think it was in 36 hours we got 7 inches of rain.
Yeah, it was
in a river bottom, and then the next day, it was a day like today where it was beautiful and sunny, and and we had rain insurance. And if it rained on the Saturday, we were going to get paid out. Well, it didn't rain a drop on Saturday, and that's when we realized, boy. It's not just the day of. So we've had weather insurance twice, and both times it has rained, and both times it has not paid out. So we haven't figured out exactly how to protect the event. I think a lesson this year is definitely we have some additional ideas now. There's a volume of rain in the week leading up to it that would just make it impossible.
Yeah.
And it might not be hard to insure against 5 inches of rain because the odds, typically in Missouri, in our area, 4 inches of rain the whole month of September is kind of our average. Well, we got 5 to 7 in. So, we always say we're a rain or shine event, but we are not a mud or shine event.
And, right.
If we were to get a certain amount of rain on Saturday, we could shoot no problem, especially if we were all set up in the field. We pyros have shot through plastic on more than one occasion, and we know we can make that work. But on just like that on that same day, if you got an inch even and it had been dry, I think no problem. There might be a little bit of trouble getting people out, but if you get 2 or 3 inches, you're going to have a big problem. And so that would be a case to probably insure as well. So we'll be looking at it a little more next year and trying to be strategic about how do we protect ourselves against just this situation that got us this time.
Because I know at this event the last 3 years we've had rain. So maybe it's just the weekend we're picking, or maybe it's the site that's cursed. I mean,
it hasn't been too bad. Well, I mean, of course, last year was just crazy. I mean, 0% chance of rain at 7:30, and then here's the rain. But year before was it was a little bit of a. Of course, it slows the cruise down a little bit, but it was fine, right? And we got here, nobody got stuck. It was these fields drained pretty good, so we didn't have much trouble. But I mean, if you're out here for a week, chances are you're going to have a day or two with a little bit of rain, and as long as it's a little bit of rain, it's just fine.
Well, I guess that leads me to my next question. So, obviously, you guys are doing the expansion, so
right.
Do you guys have any weather mitigation features that might be integrated into the field, drainage or?
Yeah, not yet. We haven't quite gotten that far, but we're definitely going to be taking a look at it. And when we were talking to when we were in the meeting to talk about whether we're going to postpone or not, we did say, Charlie, our partner in Innsbruck, he says we've got to be more rain resistant. So that's going to be a big part of.
And as I think Donnie and I were chatting a little bit earlier. It's as the event grows, these designers want more time in the field.
Right. I've noticed that they come earlier and earlier,
or even as potential more rules and regulations happen. For instance, Mickert showed up earlier just because he couldn't match product in Illinois. So he had to theoretically be here earlier to work earlier.
Right.
So
I think he asked me if he could come Saturday. I
said,
he
no. Did. Yeah.
No. I'm like, I'm not going to be there till Sunday. So no. But you're right. I mean, that's going to continue to happen, and we're going to have to work around it and find ways to, especially if the shows continue to get bigger, which the trend does not seem to be that they're going to be smaller. So.
Yeah. Which is it's very interesting because I think I was talking to you, Donnie. It's I shot a show 2 weeks ago at NFA, and it was 760 cues in 7 minutes, and it was probably one of the better ones that I've ever done. And then I look at SkyWars last year, or PGI this year that I shot, and it was 4,500 cues, and it's a lot more work. Is it justifiable? I don't know.
It sure looks great. I mean,
the crowd loves it. The crowd loves it. The crowd loves it.
Even in the last few years, we definitely, there's been an escalation of, Scott Smith's winning Pyro Musical Pro-Am in 2020 had about 1,000 cues.
Yeah.
And then fast forward to the Champion of Champions. Now, the Champion of Champions tends to be bigger anyway, but, 3,000. There was nobody that had less than 3,000.
None.
And now, some of the scripts this year, I think the smallest one was going to be 1,700 or 1,800 cues. I mean, it's just, and with less budget. That's the funny thing.
Yeah.
It's they, we're thinking in some cases we're back to breaking stuff apart and how can I get more density in here and. It doesn't matter what you do. These guys are creative, and they're going to find a way to, put something great up.
Well, I guess so. Yeah. I mean, has there been talk about maybe limiting the scale of the shows to help mitigate some of the lengthy time on the field too?
Yeah.
I mean,
In the old days, that we've had the rules have changed a little bit over the years. It used to be that you got an amount of product, an amount of cakes, slices, you were sort of limited in that way.
Yeah.
And we were just talking about that the other day because that was a limit. Again, people are going to find a way to get around it. So I think it's like 2013. There's a limit to what you can do. Tim Jameson was competing, and he's the first and only person that I'm aware of that used e-match as an effect because there was no limit on how many e-matches you could have. So he actually was popping the e-matches like flash pots out there because they weren't limited. So. I think our intention. What we did this year was we did limit it a little bit, so the budgets were similar to last year's in the Champion of Champions, but more was included. So last year, the crews all had $9,000 to work with, and then there was some additional product that was being thrown in by Raccoon, and their e-match did not count against the $9,000. And this year we said it's $9,000, and that includes everything. It includes all the product, all the e-match, and that was sort of naturally going to just shrink the size of the show. I mean, you look at what you're paying for a match. I mean, you'll burn up your whole budget in match at some point.
Oh yeah,
your match budget will equal your fireworks budget. So it is sort of a natural limiter. So that's kind of what we're doing on the Pro-Am side. We really haven't found a way to limit the pro side. Right now we have sort of a similar model to what they would have at some of the big championships, at least as we understand it. You look at a place like Montreal, they have a budget, and if you want to spend more, you can spend more. And we definitely have gotten a little bit of flack about that because there's this idea of like, can you buy the championship on the pro side, because whoever puts in the most product is going to win. Now I would challenge you on that because I don't think that's necessarily the case, but
rumor has it Ellery said less Q count is better, and he wants to do it.
In some cases it is. So
he didn't hear.
He's
it.
over there. He's
not paying attention.
But even when it comes down to a dollar amount, we said, all right, so you have to spend. Like, there's one thing you could say is you could say, we're going to limit the Q count. All right, well then, what about chains? What about just fusing things together? All right, so now that's out. We're going to limit the dollar amount that you put in, and you can only spend the budget. Well, here's the problem with that. One competitor is buying from a wholesaler. The other competitor imports directly from China and can get twice the product for the same price. So, even that doesn't work. So if somebody can come up with a good way to limit this, that we might look at it. But I think in the meantime, really what we want is that passionate person that's dying to put on a show on the big stage and showcase their creativity, and if they want to spend more money to do it, I think in some ways it's great for the audience. It's great for what we're trying to create as a community. And it's expensive, and it might make some people feel demoralized. And I hope that doesn't happen. Some people be like, well, I'm not even gonna try because if I don't have an extra whatever dollars to throw in, I just I'm gonna give up. That's not good for the event. So. We want it to be level to some extent, and also, we want to get the best shows that we can in the year.
Yeah. I mean, obviously it makes sense on the programs to keep those a little more strict and a little more tighter, because that's just the type of category that you want. You want people to see that creativity based on a strict budget. But obviously I get the pros, like, here's kind of your base budget, but you're free to kind of go beyond that because it's the pro division. You should have access to more stuff, more resources generally, and stuff like that. And if you can pull more product together, get more contributions, and that's a good thing, because it's going to make the shows better. And obviously we're all here to make the shows good for the audience, right? Like they want to see the best show. I mean, that's all they want. That's all they care about. They don't care about who spent how much money. They want to see the best shows in the field.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yep.
Yeah, I think we'll see the budgets continue to expand on the pro side. Maybe not next year. But my original intention was that for Champion of Champions, my plan was to put more money behind it, and hopefully that'll even some of that out. Like at a certain point, there's only so much money you can spend. You only have so much time. There's only so much you can do, and if we can actually solve the problem by providing more resources, and that would include not only product, but can we provide a budget for getting your crew there, or for equipment. Like, all right, here's your budget for tape, stakes, lifts, all the other things that you might need, just so people are coming out less, and at least would be able to get more on a level playing field versus somebody that has access to all that stuff, because they we already have all the we're doing 500 shows a year. We've already got all that stuff. Because I think the market for SkyWars on the pro side is not necessarily it's Grucci's never going to shoot at SkyWars, and you're not going to have Pyro Spectaculars shoot at SkyWars, or probably Rozzy is not going to shoot at SkyWars. Now Rozzy shot at Montreal, but it's a different kind of thing. But here's the thing: there's someone who might work at Rozzy or one of those other places who is totally in love with fireworks, loves the pyro musical, and that person is the person that we want to come compete at SkyWars. So it's you guys have both been on the field, and it's not necessarily like, oh, this is an official corporate show. It's like, no, there's that one guy that's like, I really want to do this, and they might pull a bunch of people out of their company to help, but really we're about showcasing that individual talent, and I think it's one of the things that makes SkyWars different than the international competitions and even some of the new things. Like I love what they're doing up in Traverse City, but that's kind of more of that's already being done all over the country. All over the world,
Yeah.
There's nothing like SkyWars that I'm aware of, and certainly not at the scale that we've been able to get it up to.
Yeah. Perfect.
You have more questions?
I don't.
You don't have more
any
questions?
more questions? Do you have any more questions?
Oh, you had questions on your list there.
Yeah.
So I guess one of the other questions that came up earlier that actually I think came from Ellery over there. Actually he was curious about, especially the where we canceled the whole event. Was there some opportunity maybe since you had a lot of pyros coming to still actually have the pyro side of the event, like the blind pyro?
Yeah. Right.
Was there a possibility at all to consider to maybe you still had the Friday night event for the pyros who were already going to be around?
Yeah. Well, we definitely talked about that. One question was like, hey, like tonight, it's still going to be nice. Can we do a little open shooting or something?
Yeah.
Or, our permit that was only for Friday and Saturday. I'll say on the one side, it does appear that it's going to be raining again tomorrow. So that's probably not good. And I still, even on a full, you're going to have on a Friday night for blind pyro and the demos, we still might have 500 people back here with nowhere to park them. So that problem stays. And last year we got a lot of trouble from the public, some of the ticket holders, who were not able to see your show on Sunday night. Yeah. And we couldn't have those people there because we don't have any. Everything's gone. There's no security. There's no food trucks. There's no ticket holders. There's no volunteers. There's nothing. Right. So. Yeah. No one to help them park, no one to help them get out, and so it just didn't work. We knew we were going to have to do it, just by ourselves. And when they saw the fireworks, going off, there was a lot of hate online, and I get it. I mean, they want to come see the show. I think a lot of people think they missed. We missed half the show. Now you didn't miss half the show. You missed one show. Now, admittedly, it was the best show, but sorry about that.
You hear that, David? It was the best show. Even Rob agreed.
Of 23.
Of 23. It was the winning show. We'll put it that way. The judges felt that it was the best show. Which is why you're wearing that shirt right now. You're fancy.
I know.
You're 2023 pro champion.
It's all right. Yeah. Rumor has it we're going to share the same shirt in 26.
So, but we knew that. I'm like, if we shoot some fireworks and they hear something going off, people are going to go crazy. They're doing it again. They're going to think we're shooting the event. It's just not worth it. Yeah. And so, we decided we're just pull the plug and everything's canceled. And I get lots of questions like, well, what about are we still going to have the raffle? No. Are we still going to, what about the PGI course? No.
Right.
Yeah, we're nothing. We're not having anything, unfortunately.
Yeah.
All right. Well.
Perfect.
Okay. I think that's it. That's all we have.
I think that's all we got for today.
When do you think you guys are going to put this on air?
Tomorrow morning.
Well, one thing to say, in case somebody sees it, is we are going to have a little reception tomorrow night at Innsbruck. They've been nice enough to let us have some space in their clubhouse. There's a little speakeasy upstairs. The password to get in is it's not ideal. And if you show up, we're gonna it's cash bar because we don't have any money to pay for anything else.
What if I show up and say we'll do it tomorrow?
We'll do it tomorrow.
So if they want to have if they want to come and join us, I thought we might have 40 people there, but I think there's maybe a lot more people in town that I'm thinking.
I know all the KCAP people kept their Airbnbs and they're all coming in. So
I think we could
have 100, a lot of people.
I think we'd have 100 people. I told them.
I think 100 might be low.
Yeah, can we overflow onto the bar downstairs? And they're like, sure, no problem. So anyway, if you're in town, come on out and join us.
Yeah, cool. Perfect.
At least some pyro fellowship if we can't have the actual pyro.
And that's just, I was talking to Tim Jameson. He was like, screw it. I'm still coming out. Like, this might be the only time where we're not just all sitting in a field and sweating and plugging in wire. Like, let's hang out. Let's get to know each other a little better.
Exactly.
Keep up the pyro commodity or camaraderie. And let's have some fun.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So I'm obviously, it's a shame that the event ended the way it did for this year, and definitely wished it could have been better. But I mean, I think obviously the right decision was made. Once you get out here and you see kind of how sloppy it can be, and a little bit of rain is going to make it a lot worse really quick. And so, and considering all the public parking is grass and fields, it would have been a mess. And so, we agree that doing it early was obviously the right decision to give people time. And so again, I want to thank you for giving us the time to come out here and to kind of chill out for a little bit and talk about it. And
you bet.
and start looking forward to next year and season, episode 19 redone. We will redo.
Season
We'll be back.
19,
We'll be back.
Yeah, and well, while we're here, I want to thank Dominator. Obviously, if you're watching this, you can see
Dominator,
the big red tent. Probably see that in a couple more episodes. I know we have some episodes we're looking at recording Saturday, and
potentially
who knows what else might come out of that.
Yeah.
And then obviously Cobra. Thanks again for the sponsorship to Cobra. And if you're looking for a pyro event, you're maybe not in. Obviously, don't want to wait till SkyWars next year. Maybe want to learn a little bit more about Cobra and see some pyro musicals. It's not 12 months away, but it's probably 6 months away. We go to CobraCon. It's April 26th and 27th, if my memory serves me correct. So
I think it was like the 12th through 15th.
Is it? Okay. I'm sitting here thinking of another. I'm thinking of another event. I'm sorry, but still, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Get out there and go to that, learn, and hang out with more pyros.
Yeah.
So you gonna be there, Rob?
I don't know. I haven't made it yet to Cobra.
Okay. You should.
Well, I need to make it happen.
Rumor has it the I don't know, maybe the field might be flipped around. So I don't know. We'll have to see
I've never
what
been there
else-
either, so
yeah. You gonna go?
I mean, possibility.
We have to talk after this.
I mean,
I happen to know you're going.
Judging by the fact that Donnie's wife just shook her head no, I'd say it's not looking good.
I do know somebody was wanting me to come out and do some seminar stuff. So
Yeah.
You might be making a withdrawal from the relationship bank. If you go. I'm just saying.
Well, I right before that though, I am taking her on a 2-week vacation.
Are you?
Yeah,
Oh,
so
well, that sounds awesome.
I'm going to refill that pyro bank in the spring.
Smart move.
So we're gonna refill it.
Well
We're gonna refill that
played,
bank.
sir.
So it'll be full. She'll be tired of me by the time I get back if she'll want me to go.
Got a strategy. It's good.
Yeah. So all right, guys.
All
Hey,
right.
this will be dropped a little bit on an off day for us, but everybody out there, I mean, obviously you won't have SkyWars this weekend, but go out there and find a way to unleash your inner pyro still.
Watch some other videos of SkyWars previous shows.
Absolutely. Yeah. Go
All
out
right.
there and catch up, guys. We'll catch you guys on the next time.
Thanks.
This has been another episode of Pyro Unleashed. Come back each week for more industry insights, technical tips, and awesome pyro designs. Have fun out there, be safe, and as always, remember to unleash your inner pyro with us.